Good afternoon, and welcome to another ironic introduction to another video. Bear with me if this is a little wordy or a little lengthy. It's been a long time since I've done a deal review, so I'm not as good as I used to be about bringing this down to a reasonable length, but I'll try to go through as quickly as I can. Just keep in mind that I'm not a whale anymore. I don't spend money on the game. I have a $50 gift card, and that's it, so I've been saving it for something that's really worth. This thing looks like it has a lot of potential, which is why I'm making this video today. That said, I don't see anything about uncollected or cavalier here, so it's very likely that everybody is seeing the same deal. If you are seeing different deals, please let me know or correct me in the comments, or if you specifically want my input on whether or not this deal is a good buy, feel free to reach out and I'll do what I can to answer accordingly. That said, I'm going to dive through this easy one first, is this $10 Premium Hero Crystal card. I think that this one doesn't have a lot of value to most players. It's really only valuable to new players, or maybe if you're fishing for that extra little bit of ISO, because there is ISO value here, just not a lot of it, to be honest. But if your account is sub 7 days or maybe sub 14 days old, right, you're still getting 5 Premium Hero Crystals right off the bat. And if you don't even have a full 3-star roster, this is almost a whole 3-star character right here, and that could progress you fairly well. Or if you're a super casual, you might see value in this, but for the most part, I think that you're better off taking the $10 and spending it on other beginner deals, just because you'll get that value immediately and then you'll progress accordingly rather than having to wait over the course of 30 days to see the full value of this deal. But it can't break away from the fact that if you are a whale coming in and you're determined to drop $40 to $50 on a new game, even though this is free to play, if you've watched my why you should pay the beginner tax, you might think, okay, I'll drop $50 on Marvel Contest of Champions to get a nice boost and start. This definitely has value, and if it's in your budget and you're just starting up less than 7 days into the game, you got some solid arena fighters here, solid 3-star, and a solid work up towards a 4-star champion. Moving on to the 4-star Hero Daily card, this is where I think it starts to get more relevant. So this one is $30 for 3 4-stars. You get 30 random 6 stones and a relatively negligible amount of 5-star shards. 500 is by no means the worst amount, but it's also not a lot, so I don't really feel like it's worth analyzing here. This is essentially when people see 6-star shards in a deal, you just kind of ignore it because that's not why you're buying it, unless you're a space whale, in which case buy away. But that said, $10 essentially per 4-star is what you're getting here, and that's not a bad deal. Plus you're getting 30 random 6 stones. 4-star 6 stones are a little bit easier to get because you can get them in the daily events, but still 36 stones is nothing to balk at, especially when 4 stars is usually where you max sig champions fastest and the most often. So that said, I just want to touch on why I think $30 for 3 4-stars is an okay deal. Is just because my 4-star Omega Red and my 4-star Ghost are still on the front lines for me. My Omega Red is still used in my Alliance quest. He's one of my top 3. I always bring him to every quest, and I'm in a Gold 3 Alliance pushing map 5 times. 5 times a week. I'm fighting 9,000 PI opponents with a 6,000 Omega Red, and he just absolutely cruises through Alliance Quest for me. And I even take down mini bosses sometimes with him. So really don't underestimate 4-stars. And my 4-star Ghost takes down Alliance War fights in 12 hits, 13 hits. I get to an SP2 and then they're dead. And because she's a 4-star max sigged, she gets to an SP2 incredibly quickly. So don't underestimate the value of above God tier 4-stars, and even most of the God tier 4-stars can be really helpful to most of the players in the game, people who aren't at the Cavalier plus status. And even then, dungeons, right? 4-stars have value in dungeons. So I know that's a long rant, but I think that a lot of people undervalue 4-stars, and $10 a 4-star, it's not a bad deal. It definitely sucks that it's over this long period of time. I think that for 30-day loyalty, I would like to see maybe 50 5-star shards a day. I think would be reasonable, right? That would be 1,500 5-star shards over the course of 30 days. That's 3 times the amount here. Then you're not getting them right away, but then you're feeling that value over the longer period of time, and it's a higher in turn reward, and it just feels better to see 1,500 over the course of 30 days than 500 immediately. And at the very least, I think these 36 stones should absolutely be generic. There's no reason for these things to be random crystals for 4 stars. For 5 stars, that's a different story, but for a 4 star, these should be generics. Even if it was like 25 generics instead, I think that would round it out a lot better. But I'd say if you're not uncollected, or even if you are just recently uncollected and you have $30 to spend, this wouldn't be a bad deal. Definitely back in my whaling days, I would have picked this up. So I can't fault you if you do. Just make sure you keep your eyes peeled, because sometimes upgrade materials are better than champions, and you want to make sure you're judging your roster properly. Because if you already have a diverse 4-star roster, you don't need to be picking up this deal, no matter how good it may or may not look. Finally is this $50 deal for the 5-star ones. This is probably what people are looking at. It's particularly what I'm looking at. And this is why I was saying, like, it doesn't make sense that the 4-star one doesn't have generic SIGs, but because check it out, you got 30 generic SIGs for the 5 stars. That's why I'm like, man, $50 is pretty solid. So essentially you get 66 stones, 30 of them are generic. You get 1,000 6-star shards, which is actually, like, as far as 6-star shards go, this is a solid amount of 6-star shards. I believe in the unit deal for $50, it came with 5 Grandmaster crystals and 500 6-star shards. So for $50, yes, you're not getting the units, but you are getting significantly more 6-star shards here, and in return, you're getting 1.5 5-star shards, which is 1 featured crystal plus the 66 stones, which is not a bad deal. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm gonna buy it. You know, I've been holding on to this Amazon gift card for a while, and these 6 stones hold a lot, so I'm gonna convert that card over to Google Play, and I'm honestly gonna wait. I'm gonna wait as long as I can, just because I don't want anything to expire. I'm gonna get some more 6 stones here, so I want those durations to be as long as possible. But when you've reached the point I have where you're developing a 5-star roster, so like, let me show you real quick. That's it for anybody who's just looking for the base rundown. Feel free to click off. But if you're more interested in like an in-depth analysis, when you're pushing a 5-star roster the way I am, right? So like, you've been in the game long enough, / you've pushed enough content where your roster is developed, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 32 5 stars. You're at the point where you're starting to dupe them. You're using awakening gems to bring them up, and then your major bottleneck is 6 stones. So you can see I'm holding on to all these 6 stones. I'm being very stingy with them. But like, you see, I only have 12 here for vision, specifically for tech. As for like Ghost Rider here, I've got like 18 for Mystic, and 6 stones are really what's holding you back. And for 5 stars, a lot of the times the curve is either very ungenerous or linear. So when I say ungenerous, that's not like a great word. They're very stingy in the curve is the word I like to use a lot, where it's like you need to get up to like 80 or 100 before the value's there. Or they're linear and it's really good, like just to dump as many 6 stones as possible. Ghost Rider and Vision are great examples of linear curves where it's just like, man, I wish I could dump 200 6 stones into them right away. So that said, you know, when you're at this point, it's not so much the 5-star character that I'm interested in, so much as I'm interested in upgrade materials, such as Tier 2 Alpha, Tier 5 Basic, etc., and I'm interested in 6 stones. And the truth is that Tier 2 Alpha deals suck, and Tier 5 Basic deals are even worse. And until those line up, I don't see any value there. But this gift card is burning a hole in my wallet, and I think this is where it's going to finally light out. That said, this video has gone on longer than I thought it would need to, but you'll probably see a 5-star crystal opening from me here relatively soon, because that 3,000 is going to bring me fairly close. So yeah, that's why I will be able to open another 5-star so quickly, and you know, hopefully this helps. But that said, sorry for taking so long. It always does. I'll talk to you later.